Everyone should be live here. Let me know if you can hear me and do a little test here. I'm getting some ping errors on my end here, so hopefully this will come through smoothly. We'll see. So far, not seeing a. There we go. All right, it appears something appears to be coming through here, so I'm getting errors in the YouTube studio telling me that it's not receiving enough video, blah blah blah. But it looks like I am live on my little test window over here. Good to see everyone tonight. I'm gonna pop open the chat. Looks like Ernesto, iFOMO are here. Thank you for confirming that you can hear me loud and clear. Let's see if I can get my chat bubble to work here. Going back and forth in OBS, a little rusty, but we're gonna get going here. Just give me a second to get this up and running. But it's good to be back, everyone. Well, it's just good to be back. I'm speechless as you can see. It's been a long day. Wanted to get this stream going here. Just give me a moment here, but. Anyways, it's good to be back. It's been a long time. I think it's October 17th since I've made a video, done a stream of any type. So it's obviously been quite a long time, but happy to be here. Let me just figure this out. There we go. I think I've got the chat bubble up on that screen, and it looks like we've got it up on here as well. So perfect. Yeah, it's been a long time. Skater Nesto, iFOMO, Big Steve Kells in the chat. It's nice to be back. I've been missing Pokemon a lot. I've just been extremely busy. I'm gonna go into a little bit. I've got a Catch 'em All Collectibles slideshow here to go through. So we're gonna get through an agenda here. So I'll let you guys know what has been going on my side, but have just been super busy, and just have not been able to find the time. And I guess I should say I've not been able to make the time, because you can find that you can do what's important to you. You can make time. So this is important to me, but I've just had a lot of other stuff going on, and I've finally got myself into a groove. And feeling good with where things are at in terms of work-life balance, family balance, and finally found some time to carve out and hop on the live here. So awesome to be here. I'm gonna get started here in a second. So cool. All right, so got the chat moving. Let's jump in. I know it's a late night here. It's 10:38 Central Time here. I know we've got some people. I know at least Ernesto is Eastern Time, so appreciate you hopping on late. I know a lot of the community. We're night owls. A lot of night owls in the community. So hopefully some people can jump on here. So just wanted to jump in. So here we go. I'm gonna pop over to the other screen and start this little slideshow presentation that I made for this evening. So the YouTube thumbnail, this is just clickbait BS. All we know is booming 2.0, sell everything now, stonk emojis, arrows up, question mark. I'm just clickbait and having fun. It has been crazy. So it's interesting to go back to the last point in time of when I was really engaged in the hobby. So as you'll see through the presentation here in a second, I've still been engaged in terms of selling. So I've when I pulled the numbers for this presentation to go over how much I had sold, I was actually shocked at the number. So still have been sending out orders almost every day, packaging stuff up, firing it off. Have not done a ton of buying, but it's really interesting to see that point in time with that Chicago Collecticon. Oh, my phone just started up here, so don't know. Sorry about that. Don't know why that just started playing. The last time that I was really engaged and saw everybody in person and is really deep in this was the Chicago Collecticon back in October. So I can't remember the exact dates, maybe October 12th or 13th or something along those lines. But that was the last time I was there. I had just to illustrate where we are now compared to where we were then, just price wise. I had a table. I had a ton of 151. I had Pokemon Center, ultra premium collections. I had the booster bundles. I had loose packs. I had that was the main portion of my sales. But just to highlight, I remember this specifically. I had UPCs for sale at, I believe I started the show out, they were like at 175, 185, and then people weren't buying, nobody was pulling the trigger at 175. And then I lowered it to like 165, and I even got all the way down to 155 at one point, and I sold 3 or 4 at that price point. Nobody was wanting to pull the trigger. Nobody was wanting to purchase. Everybody's hesitant. Maybe I'll buy some. The booster bundles were flying off the shelf pretty decently. I believe at like $50 or $60 at that time. But it's crazy to see where we are now. I honestly don't have the price of the ultra premium collections up in front of me. I think they're pushing 300 if I remember correctly, just by listening to some live streams in the background. But I do know for a fact that I sold mine around 230, 240, 250 on the way up. So I had, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them. I sold a couple at the show, had some left over, and I've just sold them either on Facebook Marketplace or TCG Player mostly, and just sold them, liquidated them immediately, which is actually insane. So just that from October to March, we just skyrocketed 100% gains. Just on that particular product. I know that's a super popular product, but everything's been booming. I've been watching and paying attention to this stuff. It's absolutely insane what's been going on. And I know that to beat a dead horse, I'm sure everybody's been talking about it. Like, actually, it's kind of funny now that I'm hopping back in. Everybody's starting to go, "Oh, is everything crashing? Like, what's going on in the macroeconomic world? Are things starting to level off and go down?" It's so crazy. But I can't believe what's happened since that time. I have sold pretty much everything that I've got. I mean, not everything that I've got, but I've just been selling. All my inventory sold, a bunch of slabs sold, been just selling raw. It has just been flying. Everything's been flying off the shelf, from modern stuff to sealed, sealed modern promos to random damaged 2004, Nintendo era, stamp promo cards, to just whatever. Like, it's just flying. And I'm not complaining. This is awesome. And it's just hard to wrap my head around what's going on. It kind of dawned on me that I've almost, since I've been in the hobby, like 2020, 2021, until now, it feels like we've been booming for more time than we've not been booming, which is just like insane. Like, or 50. It's either we're booming or it's I just don't even know what to say. So I love it. I know it can be frustrating, and there's a lot of different things in terms of not being able to, like Mason not being able to easily source from distribution to fill his store, and having to turn to the secondary market to fill the shelves, to players probably having a tough time getting cards, to just, I know there's those factors to all this where you could be seen as negative, but I mean, come on, this is awesome. It is it's got to be it's a positive. Like, would we rather be booming or spiraling down into the depths? So, like, obviously we want this stuff to be popular, and we want it to go up. So that's my opening monologue here for the podcast. I don't know what is this podcast, a show for the live stream. Pokey Kid is in the chat. Beers clanking, iFOMO, beer clanking, 100 popcorn emoji. Good to see you guys here. iFOMO is I think iFOMO has been to nearly every single live stream that I've ever done. He's my number one subscriber. He's always here, so good to see you here. All right, let's see what we've got. Let's go to the agenda slide, and this is funny that I've actually got like a PowerPoint presentation. It's just funny. Like obviously my boss isn't watching this, but if my coworkers or bosses were watching this, it's just funny to juxtapose like my 9 to 5 job. Like I've been doing a lot of training other employees recently, and just onboarding them onto to different clients that I've got experience with, and bringing them onto the team. And when I teach them the job, I don't put together PowerPoint presentations. I just kind of go off the riff and show them different things and files on my computer, blah, 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 share my screen. It's just funny that like I took the time to create a PowerPoint presentation for my Pokemon side business, but I'm not doing it my 9 to 5. So hopefully my boss isn't watching, hear me say that right now. So agenda. What have I been up to? Sales and purchases, Japan, and then Chicago Collecticon, last item on the list here. So moving on, just want to go over some sales. So these are not net sales. These are gross sales since 10/17/24. So right before I hopped on this, I just checked. I know it would probably make more sense to go over the numbers from Jan 1 to now. It's like whatever. Like I just wanted to kind of highlight like what this is the more important piece of this that I wanted to portray is like what I've been up to since I've made my last video and engaged with the hobby. And when I went in to put these numbers in, I had anticipated that this would be like maybe 2,500 total between the two. And I don't know why I thought that. I should have known just by like packaging the orders and sending them out and just being the one to make these sales that I was way off. So whatever that is, 6,500 ish gross sales, and that's with me having made a single purchase since this entire time. So this is all just inventory that I've had on deck. And just been selling through it like as fast as possible, just to try to take advantage of some of these soaring prices and just the booming market that we're in. I just feel like I'm just my goal is just to sell everything right now, and it could continue to go up, but I'm just gonna like this is just that's my move there. So selling everything. A lot of this is ultra premium collections. Some of it are just some random duplicate cards that I've had, and I've just been powering through it. So what I don't have included on this list, I made I think I sold Dan. I sent him to whatever 75-80% or whatever we did with the slab deal. I gave him all my junk slabs, and he's selling them on Fanatics. So the $500-600 there to add to this total, and probably some Facebook Marketplace sales in there. So we're probably pushing a little over $7,000, which is I'm really really happy with those numbers based on not really like this. This is me at engagement level of like 20%. Or less in terms of I've been barely keeping up with the streams. I've kind of picked that up lately as I've been hopping back in, but for the most part I've been really out of sight, out of mind, not really paying attention to the discords, just focusing on the family. Work has been crazy, and to have been able to churn out these types of sales and just keep pumping on the side when I can pack those orders at night. And I'm pretty proud of that number. I'm not going to say that it's just from my hard work and, crazy hard work. It's just I got super lucky and everything skyrocketed, and it was super easy. I just, packaging late at night after I'm done working and taking care of my son. So, but that was just, those are cool numbers to see, to kind of put that into perspective. I wonder, I wonder what it could have been if I would had all the time in the world and have been buying and selling this whole time, and how I would be able to take advantage of this booming market throughout the time. Obviously would have been able to make more money and make some more buys and more plays, and I just didn't have the time. I wish I did, but I think I made the most of it rather than just shut off and stop selling. I continued to fire off those orders, and I'm pretty pleased with that. I see DeGreen Shiz here in the chat. He puts in a little eyeball emoji with forks in. I think that I don't know if he's hating what he's seeing or if that means something else, but good to see you in here. Hope you and the family are well. And he says that he hasn't sold a single UPC yet, and he's holding all of them. First question for you, Josh. Are you full time now? I've been catching up on your content a little bit, and you've been, I've seen you started your sealed consignment service. I see you making videos regularly. Not that you haven't always, but I feel like you've been pumping out the content a lot and really going hard in the game in terms of making plays. I saw your gray felt hat video. So I'm getting jealous of all the people who are full time. I don't know if you are or not, but it's good to see you in the chat. You're still holding the UPCs. Somebody tell me how much those UPCs are going for right now. I would just, it's hard for me to think with like the prices, what they are right now to like hold anything at all. It's just like, bought those UPCs for such a small amount. I think I bought them for like $88 shipped a piece on Walmart. And I just sold them all for, $230, $240, maybe they'll be, what are they going to be? $500 in 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years, maybe. But I don't know. Just, my opinion would be just chuck those things out at $300 now and keep that money churning. Josh said his wife is full-time, not him. He's still in the same sales position. That is just impressive. I don't know how the parents in the full-time job people are just grinding. Like, are you just not sleeping? Mad respect to you. I think Ray is still working full-time. I think the hardest part for me is with the kids, with my son, the child care situation. I watch him Tuesday through Friday, so I work a 9 to 5, sometimes 9 to 6, 9 to 7, depending on how busy I am. But as soon as I walk in the door Tuesday through Friday, I watch him from, whatever it is, 6 until when he goes to bed at 8:30. So I'm, out of the house at, 7 o'clock in the morning on my way to work. And then I'm done with all my responsibilities for the day at 8:30. And, I could keep pushing, after essentially, working and taking care of my son for 13 and a half hours or whatever it is. I just don't have that push and that energy just to keep grinding for another few hours at night, grinding Pokemon. I don't, maybe I'm just need to sleep less. I value that sleep, get 8 hours of sleep. Maybe I just need to, if you want to just keep pushing, got to get 6 hours. Maybe that's just what needs to happen. But I mad respect to all the people who are double dipping and really hustling on the side and keeping it going. It's tough. I think what'll help me, and people probably don't care a ton about my personal situation, but my wife is her work situation is going to improve in the near future. Hopefully, with in terms of the education, the certification that she's receiving, should be able to better dictate her hours and not rely on me for 4 nights a week to provide that full childcare in the evenings. I love hanging out with him, but it is a grind. So he says 350-ish per UPC. Are they 350? I just can't believe it. Like, I sold it at 240, 250 a couple months ago, and they're just continuing to skyrocket. Like, it's just absurd. It can't just keep going up forever like that. Josh said was commenting to say you are hodling. I see that bad boy in the background. That in the background, I don't know which way to point over my shoulder here, is empty. That is just to cover up some knickknacks and tchotchkes as we call them here that are on the bottom shelf that I don't want on the YouTube live. Josh said he doesn't. I feel like I am not grinding pokey like I was a year ago. More focused on large buys and flips and do less. Pumping my wife's consignment service as much as I'm not sure what you mean about your wife's consignment service. Do you mean your sealed consignment service, or is your wife also doing some side jobs as well? Yeah, it's just the grind, there's only, like, if you want to, like, I've got another hobby that I'll talk about in a second when I talk about my Japan trip in terms of travel hacking and points and miles and credit card churning. So I've got that hobby that I pay attention to and engage in. I've got Pokemon that I'm trying to engage in and pick that back up on the side. I've got my job, got my family, got a lot of family commitments on the weekends, and then if I want to exercise, which I've been doing a god awful job at, and I'm way out of shape, need to get back in the gym. So if you want to like, there's just only so much time in the day. Like something has to be cut off. Like there has to be like the gym has to go, which it has gone for me in the past, 6 months or whatever. And I'm regretting it now so I got to stick that back in. So what does that take away from Pokemon? Does that take away from my work, from my family? How do I just, the only solution that I can see is to sleep less. And, some people out here just are able to function on 5-6 hours of sleep, and they're just grinding all day. It's just tough. Props to you guys who do that. Yeah, he says that he's 6 hour a night sleep guy. So yeah, good for you, man. Keep it up. That's awesome. Wish I could do that. I need to get better shape to be able to do that. Hope to see you in Chicago. Wife will be there in April. We're going to talk about that here in a second. I'm there. I might show up, and there's a specific reason why. So, but I would love to see you and hang out with the crew. Once we get to that, obviously it's the best. I'm so happy that they're doing it again in Chicago, and hopefully that's an every year thing. She's doing the consignment service. She does all the listing and payouts, and you're just the promoter. That's awesome. Shout out to your wife. That's a good team. I love seeing your wife. She is a funny lady and good to be around. So I've seen her at multiple Collecticons, and I know we saw you at Chicago last year, and then I can't remember the other ones that I've seen you guys at. But always fun hanging out with the couple there. That is, I didn't know that she was taking care of that for you. Hive Mind Collectibles, what a lovely surprise. Good evening. What's going on? Yeah, it's a little late night, a late night live stream. Good to see you in here, Hive Mind. Awesome to see everybody. Awesome. Got 7 people watching. When I went to start up this live, I was like, I don't know if anybody is going to click on this or care at all. It's been so long. But I appreciate the 7, now 6 people who are in here. Smash that like button if you're in here. It's crazy that people are clicking on this after such a long period of time off. So that makes me feel good. I honestly had no idea if anybody was going to click on this at all. All right, jumping up to the next one. So just want to, I talked about one purchase that I did, and it's kind of just like a funky, weird way to purchase something. So not weird way to purchase. Yeah, I think it is a weird way to purchase something. So I was doing something. I was at Staples, and I saw a rack of Surging Sparks sleeve blisters for $5.99. And I think they're like $7.75, $8 on TCG Player. So I was like, nice little whatever that is, 25% discount if I can get sales tax exempt. I was able to quickly sign up for and receive sales tax exemption. So I went ahead and bought these Surging Sparks. I think I bought 70 of them over the course of 2 different trips. So I think there were like 30 something, 36, whatever, 40 on the shelf. Completely just put them all in my cart, bought 40 of them, and then they restocked like a week or so later when I was checking in again, and I just bought, whatever, 30 or 40 more of them to equal 70 total at I think it was like $5.98 net cost per pack, $5.99 net cost, and for a nearly $8 pack, we'll go ahead and take that. So they're sitting in a box behind me. I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna sell them now because I can't make a profit with the shipping and the fees and all that BS, but happy to buy stuff at just like a popular set, Pikachu set, nice discount, gonna go ahead and buy it. So I was at Staples for something else, and I just kind of happened upon it, and I was just like, you know what, just this is free money, just gonna toss that in the cart. So that is literally the only Pokemon purchase that I have made since October, since the last time I was kind of engaged and made a video. So the only one. So there it is, Surging Sparks. So, all right. Let me take a sip of water here. Looks like Hive Mind is going to have some MetaZoo madness on your eBay. So that's something else that I'm interested to kind of see how it plays out. The only information that I've got from that is through Dan's live stream, just a little bit in terms of how he's engaging, and it doesn't sound like he's going to get partner pricing anymore, but I know it's coming back. I think Charlie Herlocker is involved with the group as far as I'm aware, unless something's changed in the last few months with bringing that back. Always love to support Charlie. He and I are from the same small hometown in Indiana, so that's a fun fact there. But always, he's a super smart guy, so hopefully that does well. We'll see how that does. I don't think I've ever purchased the MetaZoo pack, so we'll see. Maybe I'll do it to support Charlie. All right, moving on down to the next topic. So next. And I realize I'm just bang going through these. I just want to. It's easier to do a live stream with some kind of structure. Like if you don't have like 2,000 subscribers and 50 different concurrent viewers, it's hard to just sit here and just like talk to a few different people. So trying to keep this structured with the PowerPoint and so forth. So next up on the list here, Japan. So I am going to Japan here towards the end of March, early April for a few weeks, and super excited about that. So I'm just going to talk about it in the context of Pokemon a little bit and just how I planned and where this trip came about. But this is just a leisure trip for myself and my wife. Son is staying home with his grandparents. I'm actually starting to feel a little bit guilty and bad about that as we get closer to the trip. When we planned it, I was just like, this will be a great getaway. I planned this like a full year ago when he was just born. But as we get closer to the trip, I'm feeling like guilty and a bad parent for leaving my son home for 12 days. So, but I know that we deserve a break here, so I digress. But going for a few weeks, going to see the sights. We're going to Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. So super pumped about that. This is not going to be like a big Pokemon trip in terms of going to 100 different card shops and grinding for singles and trying to find every single deal. Like, this is just to eat at awesome restaurants, take in the culture, see historic sites, and go on tours and just do the tourist stuff and kind of just experience. This will be my first time in Asia, first time in Japan, and just that's the purpose of the trip. I'm obviously going to sprinkle in some Pokemon related activities in terms of just going to some awesome Pokemon centers. And I know that there is a neighborhood in Tokyo called, I believe it's pronounced Akihabara. Somebody can totally destroy me in the chat if I pronounce that wrong, but that is I believe there's a ton of different card shops within that neighborhood, so definitely going to check that out and go to lots of different card shops and just see what's going on and kind of take it all in. So the point of this trip is not for Pokemon, but definitely going to incorporate it in there. So super pumped about that. I mentioned it, and I mentioned it in previous videos. I mentioned it just a second ago in this video that the other hobby that I've been working on is kind of what is referred to sometimes as travel hacking, points and miles stuff. That's how this trip came about. I detailed this in a different video, so I'm not going to go into all the numbers. But this trip was funded in terms of hacking, quote unquote, in terms of making it much more cheaper, more affordable, but still taking part in a lot of different luxury accommodations throughout. So super pumped that was able to come to fruition. What I've learned throughout this process in planning this trip is Japan is one of, if not the most popular and sought after tourist destination on the planet, period. And that's not hyperbolic or a crazy ass statement to say that is just like a fact based on a ton of research I've done and listened to lots of discussions on travel blogging, blah, blah, blah. So it is part of the reason is because it's got awesome culture. It has a awesome history to take in. It's got amazing food. It's clean. It's safe. But another big factor that can't be ignored is that the yen is the lowest it's been against the U.S. dollar for quite a long time. It's been like that for a few years now, and it is very favorable to go and spend USD in Japan. So it's like, from what I understand, this is super rough math, but I heard somebody mention it the other day that it's like getting a 20 to 30% discount on every single thing that you buy in Japan, which is awesome. So super affordable, clean, safe, awesome. Can't wait to do that. When the next thing that I've got on the list here is Chicago Collecticon. So that kind of goes in with Japan here, and I kind of want to talk about them in a similar breath. I will be returning from Japan right at the end of April 12th, like in that general time frame. I'm not going to tell the exact time that I'm coming home, but right around April 12th and 13th. So if I'm not jet lagged to hell, I will try to make it to the second day of Chicago Collecticon, April 13th. So if I am, I'm just, if I'm like exhausted and need to, get ready for work the next day, I may not come, but we'll see. I would love to come. So I'm like 75% going to come, even if I'm like super tired. I think I'm just going to push through it and try to come, but we'll see how I'm feeling like on that. If I'm like super jet lagged and feeling terrible, I might not do it, but I want to see all the people in the hobby and stop by. So yeah, I'll be coming home. I guess I just doxed myself a touch and said that I'm going to be out of the country up until April 12th. People will be staying at my house. Weirdos, don't get any ideas. This house will not be unoccupied. I feel like I have to say that, but we live in a crazy world, so just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. But I've been thinking about like what can I do like in the short, small Pokemon, kind of portion of the trip to Japan. Like, how can I kind of incorporate that and possibly make a couple plays in terms of being able to go to Chicago Collecticon the very next day after just getting home from Japan. I wonder, and this is just, I'm not going to ask for like everybody give me a ton of ideas and how to make quick money coming from Japan to sell things at Collectica. Like, I'll have to do some research and to see if it's even and to see what's out there. And because like I can't just show up in Japan and in Tokyo and just be like, okay, cool, like I'm ready to buy stuff for super cheap and flip it, like, because the yen is down. Like, I just don't think that's how it's going to work. So I need to do some research to see if it's worth like going that extra mile while I'm in Japan trying to source product. I'm sure that my wife won't be super happy if I spend like a whole day like trying to source product to make a flip. So I'm leaning towards no. If there's like a quick win in terms of like, somebody who is dealing with somebody and, and they need me to be the middleman of a deal and it's really worth my while, maybe I'll entertain that in terms of, since I would be going to kind of where everybody's going to be straight from Japan the day before. That's kind of a unique situation. So we'll see if I end up kind of parlaying that trip into trying to make some plays in quick flips and selling things in person for cash the next day in Chicago. So we'll see if that happens. But right now it's slightly unlikely, just based on wanting to enjoy the trip with my wife. So, all right. That brings us to the end of the little presentation that I put together. I just wanted to kind of go through that and I feel like I was talking like a mile a minute there and just like going through things, but it's good to be back. Good to be back making a live stream here, interacting with the community. I just want to, I've been paying attention a little bit in the background, but it's like it's just different when you make content and really start to think about these things, and it just kind of ignites like that fire a little bit more in terms of, okay, like I made a video, now I'm like stepping in. It kind of gives you that jump start, and so I'm hoping that that's what this will do, and I finally found the time and prioritize this. So I'm looking forward to, I'm not gone. I don't want to be one of those people that just disappears into the background and has this great passion for what's been, God, it's been 4 years. since I jumped into the hobby. So it's something that's important to me and that I want to keep it as a part of my life. And it brings me joy and that sense of community with people in the Discords and just people in the chats and consuming each other's live streams and getting in on inside jokes and just like, keeping up with the market together. Like there is a really cool sense of community in this thing that we share together that, I think it's just really important, and now I'm getting all existential about and emotional about the hobby, but I really think it is an important thing, and I'm just happy to be back a part of it. So I'm going to go back to full screen here. Don't see any different things in the chat, so we're going to wrap up here in a minute, unless there's some chats that come through. But I appreciate the people sticking around. Looks like we've had hovering around 6 people in this live stream, which is awesome to just randomly pop in on a Saturday night, super late. We're past midnight on the East Coast, and I appreciate that. Looking forward to connecting with everybody. Send me DMs about any recommendations on how I can kind of accomplish my goal in terms of Japan. That's something I'd be interested to hear from people who have experience doing that. Like, my goal is I'm going to dedicate 5-6 hours of an afternoon to Pokemon in Tokyo or Osaka or Kyoto to kind of go to shops, go to Pokemon centers, maybe make some buys. So excuse me, if somebody has advice on how to kind of maximize that, whether it's to go to that neighborhood that I mentioned earlier, the Akihabara, I believe, neighborhood, or whatever the case may be, that would be super appreciated if somebody could shoot a DM and just say, hey, yeah, definitely check out that neighborhood and just pop in the shops left and right. It's near a Pokemon Center. That would be super appreciated, just to help to maximize that. So that's the only kind of call out that I've got here. DeGreen Shiz, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the content. Appreciate you as well. You are one of the OGs here. Love watching your content. Skater Ernesto says, have you ever bought cards with the sole intent of reselling? I can't tell if that is a Ernesto super sarcastic comment or if it's serious, but I'll answer it. Yes, definitely have bought stuff with the intent of reselling a lot of the stuff that I have, and it's just kind of like a weird relationship in terms of buying stuff for the PC, which I've only done with the Komiya stuff. I guess I don't have an intent of reselling that, even though I would for the right price, and but everything else has pretty much been for the sole intent of reselling. Yeah, and for sure. But Ernesto's probably trolling me right now. I can't tell. It's too late. Big Steve Kells says, a voice that I missed in the hobby. Thank you for the content. Appreciate you, man. You've been around for a long time as well. And appreciate you jumping in. I feel like we've sent some DMs back and forth and talked. So it's good to see a familiar face here as well. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks everybody for joining. It has been a fun stream. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thanks for hopping on the Saturday night. It's good to see everybody, and I hope to continue to connect in the future. Have a great night. Have a great Saturday night. You guys are weirdos for spending your night with me. There's so many better things you could do to be in the depths of the Pokemon hobby, watching a mertzcollectibles stream at Saturday night, but I say that obviously kidding and lovingly. I'm a weirdo too here, connecting with Pokemon at Saturday night. So thank you. Have a good night.